we go. All right.
We're live.
We're live. Hello and welcome to episode number 70. It's a big number for us here. I'm looking at a new camera, so I'm not really sure where to turn my head to. But as you'll see, we're joined this evening by Jansen. Some of you all may know Jansen already.
Yeah, I've been around for a while, mostly behind the camera, but probably 2021. If you were following us on Instagram or TikTok, you probably saw my face a lot.
And if you bought a motorcycle in the years, was it before that or after that?
It was service. It was years. It was just years
during that time.
Right,
it was also our service and communication with everybody who had an issue with their bike.
Yep.
So some of you, I'm sure, know Jansen. Can we get a sound check here? Can you all hear us? Coming through 5x5. Well, we'll wait and see. So anyway, welcome to the Ramblestream. If you're new to the Ramblestream, I always do this spiel. We have a little format for you to follow. Post up where you're viewing from, what you ramble with, whether it's whether it has one hole or two holes, whether it has two wheels or six, whether it has one wing or two, whatever it is, tell us what you ramble with. And if it's a Janus, well, if it's a motorcycle, tell us what motorcycle it is. If it's a Janus, tell us the serial number and the model. And then last but not least, tell us, and also if it has a name, tell us the name of your rambling machine. And last but not least, tell us what you are sipping on this good evening. So I will go ahead and get started. Richard Worsham, a founder and designer here at Janus Motorcycles. I am in Goshen, Indiana, at our kitchen shop. I ride a KLR 650, and a Halcyon 250, number 68, which name is sort of gradually becoming Rattletrap, but I don't think that's a good name for it. It definitely rattles a lot. Anyway, I am sipping on, once again, I'm a bit of it. I'm almost on all of my Wolford Reserve Halcyon 23, or Wolford Reserve 23 Halcyon Starter. So we'll go into focus here. There it is. Which apparently is unavailable if you live in Indiana or Michigan. So my sincere apologies to y'all. I didn't realize this until the last stream that you can't actually have it shipped to you.
Wait, really?
In the Bible Belt.
They have, I guess some stringent shipping laws. I guess.
We only recently were able to buy alcohol on Sunday. We still can't buy it after 8 p.m.
Cut off.
Yeah. Although, to be fair, I'm from Virginia, and you can't buy it anywhere but an ABC store, a government store. So,
count your blessings, Richard.
Yes,
count your blessings.
When I moved here, they just accepted daylight savings time, and they were still salty about it. So,
wow, I'm kind of still upset we accepted daylight savings time.
I am too, as a Hoosier. I mean, I've said this before, but as a Virginian, it was ancient history. It wasn't something that we even could consider rebelling against. It was just like the way it is. But here at the frontier, we can. Anyway, that's my introduction.
Jansen. Way out west.
Jansen.
My name is Jansen. I am sipping on a non-alcoholic blue moon, which is surprisingly delicious. I don't ramble on much, but I am the new future owner of Griffin 450-005.
That's right.
So I do have my Tesla, which is arguably ramble-less, according to Richard. I have a great amount of fun in that thing. So it's to the eye of the beholder, I guess.
So you got a Janus coming. What was the bike you got when you were working?
I had a 2023 Yamaha XSR 900.
Your wife bought for you.
That my wife surprised me with for my birthday. She was adamantly against motorcycles, and I got the job at Janus, and I told her, hey, so whether you like it or not, I might show up one day with a motorcycle. And she took it upon herself to go out, figure out which one I wanted, and then not only bought it, but surprised me with it.
Our sound is starting to get warberly. a little bit of feedback.
A little bit of feedback.
Let's see what we can do here. Started good, but got swirly. Let's try moving the mic a little closer to us.
Yeah, that might work.
We'll put it right here so that it's not blocking the camera. Tell us is that any better?
It's definitely closer. Barb has Halcyon 450 number 278 named. Oh, good grief! Can you even?
Where is it?
Right here.
Badaka.
You're gonna have to pronounce that for us.
Badaka in Oregon, sipping on boring water today. Yeah, tell us if the less echo. Okay.
Yeah, I think it was just too far away.
Sound is 5x5 system. Okay, cool. Well, anyway, this is a good segue. Oh, let's finish the story.
Yeah, my wife, she took it upon herself to go figure out what motorcycle I wanted. Recruited her uncle, who had an enclosed trailer, to go pick it up from I can't remember what it was. I think it was Chicago. So he drove all over Chicago, drove it back to our house, and we were having a yard sale at the time when we were selling a dresser. And she's like, "Oh, Darren's coming by to pick up the dresser." And I'm like, "Okay, cool." And I see him pull in with his truck and this 12 by. It was a massive enclosed trailer. I'm like, the dresser's not that big. And so I opened the door, and there he is. He goes, "Well, no, it's not." And he's sitting in front of this motorcycle. And at first I was like, "Oh my gosh, this is mine." And then I was like, "No, there's no way." So I asked him, "What do you think about it?" He's like, "It's yours." He goes, "I think you've got a pretty kick-ass wife." And I'm like, "Okay." And then it all kind of set in. It was still to this day, the best gift I've ever been given. Wild.
I mean, the motorcycle, a pretty good
It's
gift.
a great gift. Great gift. And then 2 kids later, and slinging your leg over a rocket ship is really terrifying. Yeah. Makes you not want to do it anymore a little bit.
Yeah. So you got rid of the
Yeah. So Yamaha sold, but
getting a Griffin 450.
Getting a Griffin 450.
Okay, so that is a good segue because the sound issues we're having, the technology. I think it's in every single video I do. It says if technology doesn't, it helps or we'll see if technology helps or hinders us.
Yes.
And maybe the problem is not the technology, but the user. Definitely. I don't know. But we're one of the reasons that we have Jansen here. This is a face that I hope will be more familiar on the Ramblestream. We've been talking a lot about improvements.
Yeah.
Updating it, and that's both on the tech end with, you may notice, I don't know if you can tell, the camera. Can you tell? We have a better camera. We're using a DSLR to, well, it's not actually, what is it?
It's technically an SLR. It's more digital driven.
Okay. There you go. We're using a new camera that, and then we will also, as we continue, we'll be getting some updated mics, sound system, etc. And Jansen's really helping me with that. But possibly more importantly for you all, I hope we're going to be working on the programming of the Ramblestream in an effort to make it, I don't know, add more value. We're going to try and be a little bit better prepared, and also a little bit more of a. I've been calling it a liturgy of the Ramblestream
Practice.
Yes. So something kind of a different sections, maybe a cool intro video, stuff like that, and then also different sections where we'll get more fun and more different each time. More and more of you all will be excited to see and participate. And we're also, I think, probably maybe the one thing that right off the bat we can do is trying to answer comments in real time.
Right, as they come through.
Because one of the problems with me doing it on my own is that I just read through the comments as they come in, and sometimes, usually, as I'm sure you all know, it's 30 minutes later, and so I can't really answer the question of when it's being asked. So I think that will really be fun. Yeah. So we're going to talk a little bit more about that later on. I've kind of jumped a little bit ahead as my way, but first off, let's see.
Mozart says, if your wife surprises you with an XSR 900, I think you're legally required to marry her again. Yeah, I think so.
How's this working for you?
Good. Yeah, I think this is fine as they come through. I just want you guys to know we might not get to all of you. We're going to do our very best to kind of acknowledge you as you come in, but we might miss you. So keep commenting till we say something.
Yeah, and one of the things I forgot to tell Jansen is that we can highlight comments on like, for example, friend of the stream, Dave Bowen. Good afternoon from Seattle, Seattle. House down 450, number 41. 450, number 41. Hanging out with a shot of Wolford Reserve 23. Cheers. So that then everybody can see that.
Cool.
We have 56 people viewing right now, and it's all on. We have 1 like on Facebook.
Nice. We're doing it.
So, anyway, yeah, we'll talk more about that. But I'm going to go ahead and read. Usually we do a poem, but sometimes, as you know, we don't. This one is a piece of literature, and I'm going to give you a little bit of background because it's definitely formative for my understanding of rambling. This is a quote from a book called Rakundra's First Cruise. And the book was by a guy named Arthur Ransom. And Arthur Ransom wrote a series of children's books called The Flawless Amazons, which I was raised on. And if there's a book about rambling, this basically inspired me to, I don't know, I could probably credit him for everything.
I was about to say, there is a book on rambling, and I think you wrote it.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Yeah. Well, but this is a series of books. I don't even remember how many different, maybe a dozen or more books written in the 30s, I believe, 1930s, about sort of semi-fictional group of children, friends, and family who would spend the summers on their summer holidays from school, public school, sailing and camping. And they get into all kinds of crazy adventures. Some of the adventures, like 2 of the series, are definitely fantastical. They're not historical. The rest of them are based on actual experiences, mostly sailing in the Lake District of England on like what we think maybe is like Lake Windermere or Coniston water. But anyway, the guy who wrote the book was a rambler par excellence. And this is out of a book he wrote about sailing, a boat that he had built for him to his own design, called Rakundra. And I thought it was especially fitting. But anyway, it describes a trip he made across the Baltic Sea from Riga in Latvia to Helsinki in Finland and back in a 9-meter sailing boat that he had built to his design. So he says, houses are but badly built boats, so firmly aground that you cannot think of moving them. They are definitely inferior things, belonging to the vegetable, not the animal world, rooted and stationary, capable of gay transition. I admit doubtfully, as exceptions, snail shells and caravans. The desire to build a house is the tired wish of a man content henceforward with a single anchorage. The desire to build a boat is the desire of youth, unwilling yet to accept the idea of a final resting place. It is for that reason, perhaps, that when it comes, the desire to build a boat is one of those that cannot be resisted. It begins as a little cloud on a serene horizon. It ends by covering the whole sky so that you can think of nothing else. You must build to regain your freedom, and always you comfort yourself with a thought that yours will be a perfect boat, the boat that you may search the harbors of all the world for and not find. And I would add to that, I mean, I think obviously boats have a dear and special place in my heart, but I think I've made the argument well already on the stream and in the Wrangler's Companion that it's not just boats, and we're not just talking about motorcycles. Rambling is a activity that encompasses. It even encompasses walking. I should say, what do you ramble with? Maybe it's a single-footed walking stick.
Right.
It's not just wheeled vehicles or winged or whatever. It's something that it's a way of approaching. It's a posture toward life, and that's why I think boats just illustrate it really well. As do motorcycles. They're very, very. The reason motorcycles are so fascinating is that I think I've said this before too, but for the most part, machines like Jensen's Tesla, they tend the general tendency, or like anything really. It's not Tesla's just an early example.
Right.
They tend to minimize our agency. That's what they're because they make things easier and more convenient, and more comfortable and safer, and there's all kinds of good reasons that people with good sense would want to follow them. Mm-hmm. They make our connection with the world less direct, which the Rambler argues is a loss. And the Rambler is typically willing to sacrifice some degree of safety, comfort, convenience in order to regain that connection, that direct connection, which is, I think, essential to being a human being. Yeah. And that's what I think that Arthur Ransom is saying in this. Is like, he's not saying that boats are not for old men or people. It's that if you remain young at heart, that's what players do. Right. They're always trying to push the limits of yourself.
Right.
So, yeah. I thought that was beautiful. Thank you. Special thanks to my brother Braxton for emailing me that. So
yeah, I think it's an interesting way to look at life in general. Is as a world, we are moving quickly in one direction toward a disconnection from the earth, right? From what it is to be human in a way. So what does it look like for us to go upstream a little bit and try to really disconnect from like our phones and our modern world and step back into what it means to be human again? I wonder what that transition feels like, what that transition looks like, right?
I mean, for some people, it means becoming a monk.
Yeah.
Like the ascetic cat.
Who was that? There was a famous artist who had, I can't remember what, this isn't going to be helpful at all. There was a famous artist, I can't remember what song, it was Hallelujah. Who was the artist of Hallelujah?
It's
David played the
Praise
the Lord, that song. What's his name? Chat, do we know? Leonard Cohen.
Yeah.
And after creating music, he went and became a Tibetan monk, I think.
He became Muslim.
Or is it Muslim?
Yeah.
I vividly remember a picture of him in like robes and like Nikes.
Yeah, he's got a different name now.
Does he? That's crazy.
I mean, it illustrates like I don't think that we're all called to be monks.
No.
I've actually been having this conversation. Like, you try and like do all these things to like retain this like direct connection with everything and all the levels of reality. Not everyone's called to do that. And most of us, I mean, if you're on the internet watching this, you're not a monk.
Right.
And so how do we, in our real life, regular, whether you have a family or whether you live in the world, how do you still do that? To me, the answer is rambling.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're a monk, you don't need to ramble because you're engaged in a completely different, and I'm just saying, I'm using the sense monk in the sense that the ascetic path where you're directed outside of the world to a more direct reality. Right. You could say that in any number of other, what would be another example of like whether you're if you just decide to go off and live in the woods or something, that would, or you want to live in the moment,
right?
Something like that.
People who
not everyone's called to do that.
People who sell everything, right? And live on the road, live out of their car. That's another.
Or if they sell everything inside the movie.
Yeah, that's right. It's crazy. The ultimate version of rambling.
Ultimate rambler. You know who I'm talking to right there. Anyway, there you go. If you're interested in the book, it's Arthur Ransom, Ransome, Rapundra's First Cruise. He also wrote other books about other cruises he did on his boats. But also, Swallows and Amazons is a children's book series that I still read regularly. Obviously, I have little girls to read it to, but it doesn't mean I enjoy it any less. Any less. There you go.
Get it
Nice
hard.
long one.
Go back, would you?
On the comments. All right. Dan Rodensky says sound started good, but got okay. We got that one.
Yep.
Let's see. Let's go to the bottom. We're gonna stay on top. Here, Dan Rodensky's comment. He says the most covered song of all.
For real. Picture a monkey driving a rambler while wearing
Acetic acid.
or drinking.
There's the comment. All right. Okay. Well, we are going to be working on how this interface. Basically, the goal is, like I've said before, typically on these Ramble teams, I'm the one who gets to talk. And if we can integrate comments more, it actually might be more of a conversation. And so we're going to be working on ways where basically Janus is going to be helping to make sure that we're on top of comments quickly and also help with the overall vibrancy, which I think I'm already enjoying this more than the regular Ramblestream. So I hope you all are too.
I'm having fun. This is my first one. So.
All right. Okay. Next up, we're going to. So we can go through these comments. Usually I resort to the comments to sort of fill. But we're going to talk about some upgrades. I know you all have been asking for an update on what we're working on with options and upgrades for the Janus motorcycles line. And that's what I'm going to do. What I have already warned you all on previous episodes, though, is that right now, the upgrades and options we're working on aren't necessarily the most flashy and exciting. However, they are very important to the overall quality. We're improving the quality of the bikes. And they're things that if you buy a new Janus, you're going to appreciate, intermixed with some new fun upgrades for you all. So give me a second here to share screen. This is something that we can get better at. I'm going to do a window. We're going to get really Inception here, and you're going to be able to see yourself. Oh, look at that.
It's a fun dance.
All right. Actually, I'm going to I can share it.
What are you looking to do?
I'm trying to share all these tabs.
All your tabs. If you go to, go back to that, and then go to where you pulled up the pages. Yeah. Where you pulled up us in that Inception mode.
So you have to do each one individually. If I do,
Is there a window where you can do the whole version of Chrome?
Yeah, that would be this one. But then it shows the screen.
Yeah, it
So
might.
I want to move all those down. How about this? We're gonna do.
So it's gonna follow the window, right?
It will, but if I move this,
Here we go. Now we're cooking.
and then we do this.
There's the tab.
I think this is gonna work. Wait, isn't that working?
So.
Right now I'm lost.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let me drive. Where are we at here? How did you pull up that?
Right down there. Just do stop, and then you present, and then share screen. Then if you do window, it's not just one tab.
Right.
That's it right there. That one right there. All right. Okay. All right, folks.
We're here.
We are going to be making big improvements on this as we go through. But first up, upgrades. This is one. Can anyone guess what this is? This is the new tool roll bracket for the Halcyon 50. Or sorry, the Halcyon 50.
What year is it, Richard?
It's not 2014. The Halcyon 450. So this will go on the opposite side from. I'm gonna get over in this here. Let me get cozy here. This will go on the right side of your Halcyon 450. The last version that I did of this, I was really thought it was going to be great, and then I remembered that it interfered with the pillion seat rack, so it didn't work. So this one actually clears it. So you can use this with your pillion, rack on your 450. On the left side, you can have a fuel bottle mount. On the right side, you can have your tool roll, just like the Halcyon 250 has the tool roll on the right side. If you want to have a passenger, you could still install the passenger foot peg, but it wouldn't work with tool roll. So you have to choose if you're going to run the bottle, the fuel bottle, or the tool roll. Anyway, that is a new upgrade. That is going to be coming out very, very soon. We're basically at this point, it's working fine. We're just making sure that one more prototype on order, make sure that it fits all generations of Halcyon 450 all the way back to number 1. So look forward to seeing that very, very soon. I'm gonna check some comments here. Next up, we have.
Carrie was saying, I wish you guys still made Halcyon 50 parts.
That would be cool if we just randomly came out with like
whole line.
Fuel bottle line.
That'd be pretty cool. Gary, you might be onto some.
You can have an extra oil for your 2-stroke. So you can run it for like 5 years without ever needing new oil. Okay, so next up we have this is the Halcyon 250 lowered seat. I think I've been talking about this for a while, but this will be this is the same seat pan that you would find on your, let's see if I can load it again here. This is Onshape. This is our design software. This is the Halcyon 250 stock seat pan. And this is the lowered one. So I don't know if you can tell the difference. How the pivot, we basically moved the whole support bracket so that it drops it a full inch. This is one of the most requested upgrades or options on the Halcyon 250 line.
What does it take the seat height to?
1 inch low. It's like, I think with this, definitely 29. It might be 28 inches, which is that's one of the main requests we get from the sales team. So that's coming out soon. It's kind of neat because it really drops the seat below the level of the different look.
Yeah.
Kind of more like a rough superior. Yeah. Like that. So that's one that we're working on. Your stock leathers will fit on this, just so you could, if you wanted your seat to be lowered and you already had a bike, it's an easy swap. Okay, next up we have the. This is one that's really going to be an improvement for long term, but this is what we're working on. This is an update for the rear brake caliper on the Griffin or Phoenix, which we don't make anymore, 250. Basically the brake, we realized that the brake pads were not perfectly aligning with the rear brake rotor. So we're going back and redesigning the caliper plate, basically carrier plate for the brakes, so that we get better alignment with the brake. So I warned you, not the most exciting, but
what are you talking about? This is so exciting.
These are the things that make our bikes constantly improving. Okay, next up we have sorry, they don't load every single time. Oh, this one's one that if you're ordering a new Griffin or a new Halcyon 450 in the future, upgrading the side stand. It's come to our attention that the 450 side stand has the ability to kind of bend, and I think if you have a 450, you may be aware of that. We're reinforcing it. So basically the side stand bracket, we're upgrading to a thicker material, and then the side stand itself, instead of having a formed, like a broken metal piece that holds this piece right here, the clevis, this is actually going to be a cast part that we are welding in, and so this will not allow any bending. So So it rides on a bushing, a much better design that will prevent the bending. And we have also really put a lot of work into the angle of the bike, so that one of the issues we have run into is that if the rear tire on your House 450 is flat, it can throw off the angle, so the bike in the wrong situation can actually tip over the other way. Not great. So this addresses that.
Gary's asking about different spring rates available for 250 and 450s.
Are you
listening
going
to your seats?
Yeah, Gary, you're talking about seats? Because we are, and this is not an immediate thing. I'm just giving you I'm full disclosure. We are working on a front suspension improvement for both the Halcyon 250 and 450, where we have softer springs. Some of you all have gone direct to Icon USA and ordered a different spring, and we're looking at working with them on that to offer that potentially as stock, maybe as an option. It's yet to be seen whether that's going to be a good option for the 450 because it weighs more. But we actually got a trade-in from a customer. We rely on you all. We got a trade-in from a customer that had the shocks on it, and so we're testing it.
Does it ride?
It's a 450. I have not actually ridden it yet, but I have ridden 250s with the softer springs, and
It's different.
I like it. Yeah. So we're working on that. I have no timeline at this point. The springs are custom made, so that will be. Gary is saying those seats. So different seat spring. I have not on the 450. The 450, we probably won't offer different seat springs because the seat springs are basically just like on top of the regular suspension. Right. On the 250, that is something that we could look into, and I will make it.
Why do I remember? I remember back in years ago, I had a couple calls about people asking for different seat springs that were a little softer, that were on older bike models. I can't remember if.
Oh yeah, that was because when we first launched the Halcyon, we used something called a hairpin spring, which means that it actually worked like this.
That's exactly.
And the problem was that they would break. Gotcha. I was literally on the phone with my wife on the next to last leg of the cross country trip, and I crossed into New York. And I was like, "Oh man, these New York roads are terrible." I was on the phone on my helmet,
sitting on the frame,
and it literally, as I was on the phone, the spring broke. And I'm like, "Oh, there we go." We moved away from those, and rightfully so. We could go with a lighter weight spring. Those would have to be custom made. Yeah. So, thank you. Appreciate that.
Softer springs won't see grade crossings too long.
NAARB says softer springs won't do CN grade crossings.
What's a CN grade crossing?
I'm wondering, like a train?
Train? That's where my head went.
Okay.
Yeah, you bottom out, huh?
Yeah. Okay. Next up. Here we got a question.
This says, did you say the new kickstand would also be able to swap on existing 450s, or is it just going to be on the new 450s?
This is a long-term upgrade, so this is primarily for new 450s. That said, there is some marginal room for improvement. Like you could run this. I don't know, but the design will limit bending to some degree on existing ones, but it's really primarily directed toward new builds. I don't know if it'll fit on existing.
Could try.
We can answer that question. Yeah, it's a good question. Canadian National is what.
That makes sense.
What are you saying? That makes sense. Dan says, I have softer seat springs on my 450. I love them, but they are cylinders, not barrel shape. Where'd you get them, Dan? Tell us.
That sounded like a threat.
Okay, next up, we've got. These are Griffin So technically, these are I designed these for the Griffin. But they are off-road pegs. So the goal with these is that they provide a more traction for your boots when you're riding in a muddy scenarios where the mud cakes on the rubber of your foot pegs and you slide off the pegs. So what these do is the mud just goes right through the peg and it grips your boot. The problem is that, and I can tell you this from personal experience, if you whack your shin into these, it is not a good thing. So mostly the people that are running these are motocross riders wearing motocross boots. And when I ride my KLR, I like to wear my boots because of this, because I have these pegs on the bike. So we are going to be offering these as a, they will fit on your Halcyon or your Griffin 450, that is. We're eventually going to be able to, one of the other options upgrades we're working on right now is new foot pegs for both the 250 and 450 line. Mm-hmm. They're going to be the same foot peg. They're custom made for us. They have the Janus logo on them.
Nice.
They're really, really nice pegs, but they're still in progress. I wish I actually have a piece of one somewhere. I don't have it with me right now. I should have prepared better. But they're very nice, and they're going to have the Janus logo on the side of them. Once we get to that point, we'll be able to fit these to any Janus bike with the new foot pegs. But for now, very soon, if you have a Halcyon, you can buy these pegs, and obviously if you have a Griffin, you can get them as well.
Try Rotax engine, not Chinese. Dane says
Rotax. I have contacted BRP, which is the manufacturer, or at least here for the Rotax, and they don't really have anything in our size, and they're really interested in working with larger operations. They're cool motors, though.
Dane, I'm wondering what your biggest concern is with a Chinese manufacturer. Is kind of what I'm most interested in. Because there are many reasons to not like Chinese engines. Me personally, I've ridden a lot of Janus motorcycles, and I can attest to, as one of the service techs, that they're one of the most bulletproof engines I've ever seen or ridden. So if you're worried about reliability, I would say it's not warranted. But that goes to show, like, we also provide one of the best.
Because we do warrant them.
Right. We provide one of the best warranties in the motorcycle market. So, like, we really stand behind them. So if it's reliability, I don't think you've got to worry about anything.
That's a good suggestion. The Rotax is a smart to try and go there. But I think they make kart engines and they make ultralight engines. But the smallest motorcycle engine that would be appropriate is, like, I want to say it's 900 cc's. I've talked to them. Don't worry.
Dan.
What does he say?
I would never buy a Chinese product sent from my iPhone.
Gary asks, are the floorboards for the Halcyon 450 coming on? Good question. I wasn't going to show that because we are kind of back to the drawing board on them a little bit, but it's a good question. The floorboards are progressing. They're not the top of the list right now, but we've gone through, with the addition of Neil to the design team, he's been rethinking them, because my design, the way that I made them, the rubber pads really wobbled around a lot, and we've solved that with Brent, our fender maker. We're dimpling where they mount to. But the next problem, the real problem we're working with right now, is the linkage system from the brake and the shifter. In order to make that work without a ton of play by the time you get to the front and the back, we need to figure out a better system. And we are definitely working on that. We have a design meeting tomorrow at 2:00, and I'll be checking in on how we're doing. But they're not something that's going to be in the next month or two. It's going to be a little long. But they are coming. They will fit your Janus 450 guaranteed. And ideally, in the future, we'd like them to fit your 250 as well. So they are coming, and they're going to be awesome. They're better than the ones I originally designed.
That's fair.
Okay. Back to this one. Okay. what's next? Headlight Grill. So this is a fun one, and I think if you forgive me for once again going over to another presentation. How do I do this?
It's on the
Here we
left
go.
there. Yep.
There we go. This is our inter-Janus, what do you call Basecamp?
Project
Project management
Yeah.
software. This is how we communicate internally. And this is what we call a card in the design area. So in the design and prototyping project, we have prototyping cards. And the cards track where each project is in its completion. Right now, the Headlight Grill, as you can see up here, is in the prototyping and testing stage. But it's kind of, I just thought I'd show you all the trajectory from a product that's June 14th, 2024, I created the card. And then it progresses from a design done by our intern, James, who I just heard back from yesterday or this morning. Will be working with us again this summer.
Nice.
He's a great kid, and we're excited to have him back. He did this initial design all the way through to the first prototype on a bike. So you can see here what that looked like. Didn't look great. We got from a bunch of different angles on different bikes to see what it looked like. And then we'll go a little further along. More comments. In this one, we domed it. And we actually, for this doming, we used the metal doming die for our fenders to make it, just because we had it. Brent did this, and it turned out really, really well. I think I got some, I don't have any pictures of how it looks on the headlight, but it really fixed that flat projection look. And here we have, as of today, Jeff, one of the design team guys here, designed this. This is he calls it the upper puck tooling, but this is it's 3D printing right now. It'd be really cool if we could get a shot of that.
That'd be really cool.
Our 3D printer is
It's too far away.
it'll be printing for the next 3 days.
Oh, seriously?
Yes.
100%.
It's not a very we have to fill it. It's completely solid plastic because we're going to use this in a press to form these headlights to make them have that dome shape. This probably won't be the production tooling, but we could probably make quite a few off of a 3D printed plastic piece. But anyway, Neil went in and added Janus logos on the side. See here, this is a production Janus print. Little Janus, double J's, and this is what a print looks like with all the revisions and the part number and side view, what it looks like formed. So this will be a part that you should expect. And this will fit on all Janus models except for the 50 because it uses a different headlight.
Sorry, Gary.
But obviously, this is designed for the Griffin. However, I think it would look really good on the Halcyon. They will be black powder coat. Maybe you could probably order them in a custom color. But stock, they'll be black powder coat. I'm really excited about that one. And they offer a fun opportunity. It's super easy to change the pattern on that. So we could have
Anything.
honeycomb, Janus logo,
Different company logos.
whatever you want. Yeah. Corporate builds. Okay. Headlight grill. The 450 exhaust update. One that if you have a 450, you may have seen some comments on the forums about vibration, breaking of the exhaust supports. We have our best and brightest on it, and we're working really hard for this spring to have a solution in place to address this, so that we are breaking more exhausts. The long-term solution is we're going to be moving to, we're on the leading edge here. I'm speaking. Basically, I'm thinking we're going to move to a 2-piece or a 4-piece exhaust system for the 450 Halcyon. The header with a separate exhaust with better isolation from the frame, because there's a lot of vibration from that thumper coming through the machine.
Basket weave on the headlight guard would be cool.
Basket weave. There you go. Nice. Let's see. Do I have any other things to share? Yeah, I do. We'll do. Yes, there we go. Another one. This was an easy one for us. Neil came up with the idea, but we're going to start offering. You've seen these Duluth pack bags. What's required for these bags is a pannier support underneath it, and right now you can't buy that on its own. We're going to be offering this just the pannier support on its own, so that you can run whatever bag you want on your Halcyon 450. So very excited to be able to offer that. I believe the retail will be $150 for that rack. And other things coming through the works are a cycle crate. Let me pull this drawing out underneath here. Cycle crate. If you're familiar on the website, we have it's a wooden cycle crate made by a guy. I think his name is Kurt over in Ohio. Who they're beautiful walnut, other hardwoods, and they come with a denim cover. We're working on a leather cover made by our Mark, our Amish saddle maker who makes all the saddlebags. And working with Mark is we don't really necessarily use all the high-tech prints. So this is what I sent over to Mark. This is the original artwork here. Let's go to the big. It's too bright. There we go. So this is a leather cover, and in order to make this really work, maybe I'm too close.
Is it grabbing?
There it is. That's it. It needs to have some kind of stiffener plate in it, much like if you're familiar with your saddlebags, they have a steel plate in the top, and they have plastic plates on the sides. We're going to be working with something like that, in this pocket on the top to keep the top flat. So I'm working on that with them right now. That's exciting. And you can get that leather to match your leather on the rest of your bike. And another idea that we have not even started on yet is a Rotopack mount for Halcyon models. We are going to have one for the Griffin model. If you're not familiar, Rotopacks are a square, fairly thin plastic fuel container. I ran 2 of them on my cross-country trip, just in case. You can stack them if you want to. But a single one is a fantastic way to carry an extra gallon or more. They make larger containers of fuel. If you're really going out rambling, a fuel bottle isn't enough. A fuel bottle is about the equivalent of your reserve. The gallon, of course, that's a half a tank. Right? So you can really extend your riding with a Rotopack. So we want to add that for a Rambler package on your Halcyon. We have some ideas, and I'd love to hear y'all's suggestions on more of them. Auxiliary lights for the all models, 450 and 250 fairings, hard panniers, rear crash bars for the Halcyon 450, so an old Indian or Harley, or another set of bars that protect the back of the bike, softer front shocks, we talked about that, and a helmet lock. I welcome any and all suggestions for upgrades and options. So, yeah. Old school's on. Better late than never. Bitter cold, lasagna, and cold milk. Old school. Buffalo, Halcyon 250 994. Geared for my wood stove fire. Progress on floorboards. I need to rewind a little bit, old school, because we talked about it a little bit earlier. The floorboards are a work in progress, but you must be patient. Lo-Fi by Nature says, who's up in Southern Michigan, says center stand. Yes, we've been promising a certain Gary Smith center stand for like
I feel like
maybe a decade.
I feel like since I was even in the service area.
Yeah, we really need to do that.
It'd be cool.
Now is the time. So we have the design team to be able to do it. Yes, I'll write it down. I feel like I keep letting Gary down. What lo-fi? What are you talking about? Center stand for which models or all models?
I can scroll up and see. Set it in chat.
Well, anyway, he says he's got a Halcyon 250, so you can start there, then do the rest. Yeah, so all of them. I hear you. Well, yeah, we can do that. One of the other upgrades that I've been thinking about and trying to figure out for a very long time is how to easily change the tire or fix a flat on your Halcyon, whether it's a 250 or a 450 on the side of the road. And one of the things on a 250 is pretty doable. I've done it. You need to prop it up somehow. On the 450, you basically have to lie the bike over on its side, which is not ideal. And so the best solution that I've come up with is looking back at the history books and seeing how the other old full fender bikes used to do it. Harley and Indian both had folding rear fenders. So the lower rear fender mount, there's a hinge. So I think what we would do if we did it, we wouldn't even hinge. We just bolt it. So right where the license plate bracket is, you just unbolt. The whole thing comes off. You can pull the wheel off the back. So I've been talking about that with Brent, the fender maker. It's definitely something that we can do. It's just going to get some more development, but that is on our list. That would really help. Center stand would also help, but yeah. Jerry says, "Sorry, Richard. Someone made me a center stand for my house. The one for the 450 would be nice too." Well, you know where to get the high quality parts
from the factory.
Cool. Well, why don't we just talk a little bit about plans?
Yeah, I was about to ask everyone what they would like to see. What kind of content do you guys want to see? Are you guys curious about more what goes behind the scenes, like what we kind of just did today? Are you curious about our thoughts about current motorcycle trends? Are you curious about what we use on a daily basis when we're riding? Like, what are some What are just some questions that you have or some things that you'd like to see Richard talk about or anyone here talk about, really?
Yeah, I mean, one of the things I've thought about is just even commenting on other brands. Like I recently, Friday, I posted a comment about LinkedIn about the new Royal Enfield Flying Flea, the little like smaller displacement electric bike, whatever you want to call it.
Smaller displacement electric bike.
A lightweight electric bike. And it's really nice.
That's
it
cool.
Looks good.
I saw the pictures. It was really cool.
And so rambling, I do like the way that we can keep the Ramblestream not necessarily just about the promoting Janus motorcycles, but just talk about rambling in general. Obviously, I have some biases, but small. But doesn't keep us from talking about planes, cars, trains, walking, all backpacking, or whatever you want to talk about. Yeah, I'd be very interested to talk about other motorcycle models as well, other manufacturers, because we really do not see ourselves like in competition. Right? Nobody competes with Janus.
Nobody. Don't be silly.
So we don't mind. Yeah, something like that. Current trends in motorcycles, all kinds of ideas like that. We got. Ian says my Royal Enfield 500 had the fender pivot at the front. Just loosen the bracket.
Huh.
Interesting. Okay. Anthony Beach says info on Janus bikes and accessory discussion. Well, we've been trying to do that today. We can do I know we can do a much better job and prepare better for that. The transitions and all that stuff we can make better. Multifarious. Okay, this is a great point. Multifarious says enjoyed seeing the recent builds of past streams, and this is something that we need to stream. I enjoyed those as well. The problem was finding what we were working on is very time consuming, and I just didn't have time to photograph the bikes and all that stuff. So we can work on that, especially as our production gets smoothed out a little bit.
We can make something work.
We can make something work with that. So, but I really appreciate that comment. I know that you all valued those builds of the week.
Gary Smith talks about moto camping, spring tune-up talk. Those are all great ideas.
Yep.
seasonal stuff for sure.
Yep.
But I think that could be super helpful.
Moto camping, we are thinking about a BDR here into April, maybe. Griffin kind of extravaganza heading out to Pennsylvania. So we will definitely have some content to share with you all. Fernando says maybe tips for new riders, from equipment to techniques to make riding safer and more comfortable.
Don't crash.
Absolutely. In the meantime, there's a great little book called Rambler's Companion that covers some of the basics of gear. But I would love to do an episode on, hey, you just got a Janus, you have no idea what you're getting into.
Yeah.
What do you do first?
Right.
Yeah, we should be right. We're going to cover this up. And if you have any more ideas in future streams, please put them up in the comments. We definitely listen to that stuff. So anyway, I am very excited to kind of have a sparring partner here on the stream. It's not just me talking. I'm not talking to myself. I'm talking to all of you all. But I think it'll help kind of bring out more. And so, yeah, we're going to see how it goes. What was it? What did you said before? What was it? Expression, try something, and if it doesn't work.
Yeah. We can try something, and if it doesn't work, we'll just never do it again. It's fine.
So, yeah. The converse is, I'll try anything once. Stay west.
Scott Spence says, how about details regarding more basic repairs like clutch plate replacement, etc.?
We could bring in some of our new service techs.
Yeah.
We just hired last week so you all know Randy. We also just hired a guy named Tim, who comes with decades of motorcycle repair experience. We could have him on. I don't know how camera friendly it's going to be, but we'll force him on.
We'll figure something out.
Or we could do. That's another thing. Like, what do you all think about like pre-recorded sections we would share?
Yeah,
we can do something like that.
Yeah,
so that's plenty of things to think about. Scott says I can offer my talents too. There we go. Awesome. I would love. There is a link below this video. If you're on YouTube right now, if you want to be a guest on the Ramblestream, just fill out. It's like 5 questions. I welcome you all to. I love having more people on. We can do it remotely. So love to have you on. And if you're like Scott, you're right up the road, you could even come in and you could even wear your old Penton shirt and be on the Ramblestream. So yeah. Cool. Gary says, yeah, service tips of the month segment. Yeah. That can be seasonal.
Yeah.
Once a month we do it's a great idea.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, stay tuned for maybe some new setup here, increased everything. We'll see how it goes. We'll try anything once. So,
and if we don't like it, don't be offended if you don't see it again.
Or if you don't like it, let us know.
Right.
All right. Cheers, everyone. And we will catch you next week on Ramblestream episode number 71. Till then, bye-bye.